stop, I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise, I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want.
Hey guys, Coach Dan here. I'm a exercise and science degree holder. I am a personal trainer and coach of over 10 years, and I've been training in the gym for over 20 years. And today I'm going to take you through my pull workout. So this is my first pull workout of the week. I am currently 8 weeks into a fat loss phase. So you'll get to see and hear about how I'm structuring things to kind of manage and maintain fatigue that comes with being in a diet. And yeah, so we're going to first go through the workout, and then we'll give a diet update and a life update because something quite cool has happened somewhat recently. So let's firstly go through the workout. So this is a back workout or a pull workout. You incorporate your back, rear delts, biceps all come into a pull workout. This workout is pretty unchanged from last week. It's just about, we're trying really hard to keep our performance and get a little bit better where possible. And that's the goal during a lot of fat loss phases, as they continue on. And progress is not perfectly smooth or linear. Sometimes it's not there at all. So we just have to work really hard because that would be indicative of, if we lose performance, potentially muscle loss. Anyway, workout for the day. We're going first up, big upper back exercise, chest supported T-bar row. Smashing that one out feels really good. Getting a big stretch over the chest support and then squeezing shoulder blades. So something that I'm doing with a lot of these movements as well is going to be a top set, so a heavier weight for a set, and then a back off set. I like that because we get that high amount of tension in set one, and then in set two you get to feel the muscles a little bit more, get that connection with the muscles, which may or may not be of high importance, but I like it. I think it serves well for using that exercise going forward. Second exercise, we're going Meadows row. So that's a row variation, single arm coming from the Landmine, again targeting towards the upper back. And the fact that I stand somewhat upright means the upper portion of the upper back. Been going well. Quite a unique one here, very, very unusual looking, but so far pretty effective. We're going lean forward, neutral grip chest supported row. So I'll lean forward onto the pad, get my butt right towards the end, lean forward. I'm using the yoga block for extra range. And again, the idea is to change the angle at which we're training the upper back. And then we head into some lat focused stuff. So we are going crossbody single arm plate loaded row. So same machine as the lean forward row, but we're going off to the side, keeping the arm close to the body, which incorporates the lat or makes the lat the biggest worker or biases it towards the lat, if you want to use that term. So far, so good then. Classic narrow neutral grip pull down, pulling nice and low. If the row variation, the single arm plate loaded row, is more upper lats, then the pull down is more about the lower lats. And then finishing off the back work with incline lying cable press. So taking a bench over to a cable machine, lying, attaching the rope and having essentially that drag over to try and isolate the lats as much as possible. And then, recently we've gone machine curl. So a bicep variation on a machine here, which I have to jimmy around to make a good range of motion. And then a dual arm rear delt cable fly for a rear delt, a little bit of upper back in that as a finishing movement. So that will be the workout today. As mentioned before, we are week 8 into a fat loss phase with 2 weeks to go. So far, so good. I'm in good spirits this week, although a couple of days ago I wasn't, but you're just riding the wave. And also got the results back from my honours project. So I did a year-long honours project, which is a postgraduate university course, you might call it, which lasts a year. And you do basically a year-long research project to learn, and you basically do your own research. So we got good marks for that, so we're happy with that. So that will then open up some potential avenues to go into research or teaching or go on and do a PhD. So that is the good news that I have, and it makes that year that was pretty tough and stressful somewhat rewarding now, which, it was tough to kind of see the end at a certain stage. But so those are some good news about me. That's life updates. That's fat loss updates as well. Week 8, 2 weeks to go. We started out at 88 kgs. We're now at 80.8 in that kind of 80 to 81 range. Kind of fluctuates day to day. But that's us. So let's go hit this back workout. We keep the intensity and effort and technique all as usual, and just make sure we are working as hard as possible to keep this muscle mass. All right, see you at the chest supported T-bar row. Let's go. All right, first up, the big bad chest supported T-bar row. So chest supported T-bar row is it's quite a good machine for challenging the upper back. So we can use this chest support essentially to round and stretch out the upper back and then pull and squeeze. This one has two handles. I take the top handle. The other thing that I do is that normally you would place the feet on this platform, but when I do something like that, it pushes me too far, which then has me flex over this. So I'll stand on the ground, line up the pad with the top of the chest, take the handle, and what I want to feel and see is that I want my shoulder blades to kind of roll forward over the chest pad, pull and squeeze at the back, roll forward, pull and squeeze. So lining up such that I'm pulling directly against the resistance and lining myself up such that I am using my upper back. So the protraction or the rounding of the scapulas over the chest pad and then trying to squeeze that back. If I were to take myself further this way, it wouldn't be bad or ineffective. You just get a lot of flexion of the spine, and I don't really want it to be too much about any of the spinal erectors. So I line up pretty low. It looks quite low, but it gets me this nice protraction and retraction and feels quite effective for me. All right, let's get this bad boy started. We build up to a pretty solid weight on here, top set and then back off set. Alright, next up we have the Meadows row. So the Meadows row is this bar attached into a landmine, these are called. We'll take a single leg stance over this bar and we've got a single arm rowing variation. So good thing about this one is we've got some increased stability via the landmine, but also the resistance has changed because now it's on a hinge. So you think free weight is coming directly down against gravity, it's the same the whole time. But this being in a hinge, as you go through the movement, it's going to change because essentially the weight is going to get closer to being over the hinge point, right? So as you pull up, this is actually going in this direction, getting closer to that. So it actually gets easier as it goes on. And you think, oh, that's not a good thing. In certain circumstances, that might be a good thing. So harder at the beginning, harder in the stretch position, that might be worthwhile, as well as far as the strength of your back musculature goes, or your pulling muscles, usually they're strongest in that lengthened position, and they get weaker and you can't really finish stuff. So the fact that this gets easier means it kind of accommodates your own strength. With that all said, could you do this with dumbbell? Absolutely. But yeah, I like this, feels pretty good to me. So we'll split the stance. In front of the bar here, I've got straps. Now the fact that we're holding onto the edge of the bar where the weights normally go means that it is a bit thicker. So this will be hard to hold onto without straps, but luckily I have straps. And again, we can change the angle depending on what you're trying to work. Now I'm trying to be somewhat upright. So we're focusing on the upper part of the upper back. So we have only essentially got this kind of upward angle as well. All right, that's that. Let's get some weight on there and get cracking. right, next up we have my lean forward chest supported row variation. So this is unusual looking, but if we look at the exercise selection we've done up until now, we've had a T-bar row which kind of comes horizontally. We've had the Meadows row which goes up. Now I want to focus on something that kind of pulls the scapulars down. Now there isn't too many things machine-wise that kind of do it. You can kind of do lean back pull downs and stuff like that. You can do like a seated row variation where you might lean forward and then pull like that, which I don't mind. But this one here, I like the chest pad because it allows us to kind of move our upper back around the pad, but it does take a little bit of fucking around. So what I'll do is I'm going to lean forward by shoving my ass to the back of the bench. So what I'll do, I'll reach over, grab the handles, bring them back. Okay, try not to get my shirt caught. Shove my butt or my crutch even all the way to the back of the bench. So this now has me leaning forward into it. So the fact that I've now reorientated my body such that I'm leaning forward, but the resistance still comes out the same. Hopefully we'll be focusing on a different area of the back, and particularly kind of like the lower traps, which kind of pull my scapulars or depress my scapulars. So instead of just doing this upright, which I think on this machine is still pretty good, resistance on here is good across the board, so that's a good thing. And yeah, so just changing the angle. We've done a couple of different movements, changing the angle, which we're focusing on our upper back. Potentially did our T-bar row, essentially like focus on everything, and therefore all we should do is just more sets of that potentially, but I'm inclined to just change the angle a little bit and mix it up a touch to make sure we're doing all the things to do the best we can. All right, let's build it up to a top set, back it off for a back off set as well. All right, same machine, different exercise and function. So if we were doing that for the lower part of the upper back, you'll notice, well, you might not have seen, you might have seen this kind of machine diverges away from the body. So diverging means it goes like this. So as my arm goes away from the body, you think about where the lat inserts and attaches, it's kind of attached to the front of the arm, wraps in here underneath the rib cage. So it wants to pull your arm here and around in towards the spine. As your arm starts to go away from the body, it's not really inclined to do that job for you. So other things will start to contribute, like your traps and your upper back and stuff like that. So if we want to make a diverging machine more about the lats, we want it to end up close to the body. Now this particular machine, I like it. I like the resistance. I like that. In lots of different ways, I like that. But for a lat-dominated exercise, that divergence is not ideal. So what I'll do to counteract that is I'll offset to the side. So I'm doing right side here. I'm going to set myself off to the side in this kind of position here, such that when I know that finishes and that divergence, I'll kind of finish with it in line with my torso or my body, so it can be more about my lats. Getting a nice big stretch out, opening the lat up. The lat, again, being that it wraps over the rib cage, there's been some suggestion that kind of going across the body is an even better stretch for the lats. I'm inclined not to go too far because I then feel my rear delt. So, but that slight sort of across the body, not a bad thing. And yeah, ultimately this has been pretty good for me so far. So we carry on. All right, so I've got a little bit extra weight. I'm a bit stronger on this one. So we'll build her up and knock them down. All right, next up, narrow neutral grip pull down for the lower lats now. So we've had that row variation, which you would probably, if you had to bias them, you would say that's biasing more towards the upper lats because your arm is going somewhat horizontal. Part of the lats kind of come in like that around your back and then some of them head down. So when we pull our arm into that kind of position, you're probably thinking upper lats or thoracic lats. And then when we go to pull our arm down, we're probably thinking lower lats. So that's what we're thinking in this. And that's why we go into kind of somewhat narrow position like I'm doing a narrow neutral one today. We could do reverse. We could do one of those other funky handles that has us in here, but probably somewhat narrow, keeping the arm close to the body, driving it down in that path that heads towards that kind of pelvis or iliac area. So we're in that kind of area there. People, the old expression used to be train wide to get wide. But yeah, arm away from the body then kind of starts to lead to your upper back, your rear delt, all pulling your shoulder around. So for this one, I'll go in, I've got my wrist wraps, strap those in. I've got this narrow neutral, feels good for me at the moment these days, but you can mix those up over time. Lock in under nice tight leg pad so you don't get pulled up when you get strong at it. Pull down. So again, not thinking pull back, you're thinking pull down for lower lats. Okay, I've got to check in what weight I'm lifting today. Top set, down set, bada bing, bada boom. This one, then we're moving on. All right, next up we got a machine curl. So in this spot, normally I'd have a lying lat prayer for the lats, as the name suggests, but not available. And I'm going to do the bicep curl first. Shouldn't affect that too much. So we shall go our sets on here, then head to that next. So a little bit out of order, but shouldn't be too much drama. So this is a machine curl variation, not too bad. One of the limitations to this machine curl is the range of motion. So if I'm in this kind of position here, because this handle like rotates like this, it does kind of limit my range. So maybe not a fully flexed elbow. So what I do to kind of counteract that is get myself ass to the front of the bench in this kind of position there, and then curl from there. And that does the trick nicely. Good thing about a machine curl variation, not a lot of setup, easy, you get on, you get started, and at the end of the workout, that's not a bad thing. And if it feels effective, that's a good thing as well. Well, probably one of the better things, but you know what I mean. We like a bit of efficiency. I don't mind like a dumbbell curl and this kind of incline curl, but for today and this kind of program where we're at, this is a good one. All right, let's do something with our weight and then get into it. Alright, last back movement is going to be the lying on an incline or seated on an incline lat prayer. So a standard or conventional lat prayer, you would face into the cable machine here, lean with some kind of bar or ropes, drag it down into you. Nothing wrong with that. I have started using the bench. I saw this variation once and I thought, oh, that might be interesting because we get stability from the bench. You can kind of change the height of that to make it hard at the stage of the movement that you want to make hard. So if I angle the cable as my arm goes back, which you'll see in a second, if I had that higher or lower, I can make it harder or easier at the beginning or harder through the mid-range or whatever it might be. So I can make that hardish at the beginning, and I think you can do that with the standard version. You have to be really close to the machine, but ultimately because of, it would have to go directly against the cable for it to be hard at the beginning. So I've gone with this variation. Now, the challenging thing about this variation is getting into position. So I've been doing a rope. So I'll take the rope, kind of get into position at the bench, drag it down with me, and then we're into position. So that is a little bit of fuckery, but worth it enough for me that I do it. And so far so good, I think, with this one. Getting a bit stronger each time I come back and do it. On the overall scale of things, it is new to me. And I think that's all I got for you. It is, you do have to get it right in the setup, but once you get it right, then you just note it down. Once you note it down, you always come back to the same setup because you have to be a certain distance away such that you're not running back in the machine. You have to kind of get your setup so you're not driving the cable down into your face. So there is some setup issues to do, but once you get it, you just note it down and then nail that every time. All right, let's get it on. All right, rear delt cable fly to finish. So as the name suggests, this is a rear delt exercise mainly. I like to kind of squeeze my shoulder blades as well, just to feel that squeeze as well, so we get a combination. So this, for the rear delts, you think about the job of the rear delts or how they originate and insert. They're kind of same deltoid tuberosity like the rest of the shoulder, but they actually go back and attach into the scapula. So they're good for movements like this and things like that, which we've already done on all our pulling movements. But this is just to finish off, finish the job off essentially. Make sure they're isolated somewhat and make sure they're the ones going to failure. Some people again would suggest, along with the anterior delt on the push days, doesn't need its own work or isolation because all the pushing exercise they work with all the pulling exercise, the rear delt's got a lot of work, but I do this to make sure it's the limiter on this exercise. And height wise we can kind of adjust this. This can be directly horizontal, a little bit high to low, things like that. You can kind of mix that up over time, but essentially I'll face in. I take the clip off any handle and I'll essentially grab the end opposite hand over the top of this, whatever you call this thing, this bauble, and then we do the same on the each side. Now, if we want to make it really tough in the stretch position, we'll stay nice and close, such that when I initiate the movement, I'm right there against it, pull into that position, stretch, there. So if we wanted to make it a little easier at the beginning and harder as we went on, we'd step away into that kind of position. So the idea, if we angle this and have this such that it's directly there, it means when I initiate the movement, I'll be going directly against that, and that will be the hardest point. I might even consider what we call a mechanical drop set, and I'll do my main set like this, and then step back and finish off with the set after that. I'll think about it. I haven't tried that too much. That might be worthwhile. All right, bit of weight to add as well. that's a work on the wrap out, guys. That's a wrap on the workout. Good back workout for the day. Yeah, again, energy levels are pretty low, but that's okay on a fat loss phase. That can be expected. And yeah, only about a week and a half left, so happy days there. We keep grinding it out. We've been getting up early steps, hitting the calories, all that kind of stuff, tracking the weight, making sure it's trending where we want and going in the rate that we want and making any changes accordingly. So haven't had to make any changes for a couple of weeks. Oh yeah, I started getting up half an hour early for a few extra steps, but that is that. So yeah, let's get out of here. Next workout, we're gonna go push. So happy days there, we keep going. Haven't got too much in the tank, but that's okay, we're done now. All right, as always, hit the little subscribe up here, really helpful for the channel, be much appreciated. If you wanna watch a future video, hit this bad boy up here. I've got shorts coming out very regularly with like exercise tips and stuff like that. And as always, it's about progress over perfection. Coach Sam signing off.